Buck naked, adjective, meaning completely naked. Blessed, adjective, meaning endowed with divine favor and protection. My life was hard to understand until I asked myself, how would it look like if I was completely myself in every environment, using all God's gifts, while also knowing I was completely covered by grace? Totally naked, but divinely protected. Thus came the birth of this book series to enlighten, educate, and inspire. Here's part of my story. Guys, my name is CoachEkong, and listen, this is my documentary. First and foremost, you gotta know that I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. I'm a Nigerian-American, and I'm a business owner. I own the company Life Change Inc., fitness company, and most importantly, I'm the author of one of the most transformative books out right now, and it's called Buck Naked and Blessed. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this video, that means that the Audible book, audiobook version is out. Go to Audible, check the book out, at least put it in your shopping cart, and then come right back, because I'm basically going to take you on a journey of my life and how it relates to this whole notion of whatever buck naked and blessed means, and really just kind of just give you a insight of not only the internal work that we all need, but also the external work to make sure you physically look good. So I'm gonna take you on a journey, and like I said, right now we're in Irving, Texas, right outside of Dallas, not very far from my Cowboys Arlington Star Stadium. So, right in the mix of the suburbs of Texas and Dallas. And I think this is a great place to start because, like I said, elementary was really where I got my mind shaped in a way that really catapulted me to a different level. So hang in there with me, and you'll be truly entertained. By the way, I'm also a father. I'm also a brother, I'm also a son, and so you'll get to kind of understand my family values as well as we go along in the journey. So yeah, this will be exciting. As we're at Thomas Haley, I think as a young Nigerian kid, you don't really understand who really is kind of for you. And I think where I was able to benefit was my teacher. I write about her in the book. It's my 5th grade teacher. She was so truly inspiring because we had this thing right in the morning. So in the morning we would go and have, it's like 2 bells. And the first bell would be the bell where, pretty much you're going, getting seated, sitting down, getting everything situated. And then the second bell, what we would have to do is we would have to write. And I remember we would just write, and we all had spirals, and you would have your spiral, you would write, and what the teacher would tell us, she would say, it doesn't matter what you write. You don't have to punctuate, you don't have to capitalize anything. She was just like, just write. I'll never forget, like the second bell was kind of the bell where you get settled down and you have to start your writing. And people would be asking, like, hey, what do I write about? What do I write about? I don't really know. Hey, what do I write about? And that was never my problem. Like, I never had the issue with writing. Writing was so easy, and they say that what comes easy to you and is hard for other people or difficult for other people. That's one of your gifts, And so one of my gifts early on was, man, I could just write. I didn't have any blocks. I didn't have any challenges or barriers to stop my thoughts and communications just from being expressed and communicated and conveyed in a way that I don't even know if in 5th grade if I was supposed to, every year you turn in that spiral. And that 5th grade teacher, she would write, messages. Hey, he's a great learner, or he's very smart, or just positive message. Sometimes just be a smiley face. There's a PTA meeting and all the spirals of the students are in this bucket for the parents to kind of pick up and, check out. And I remember my mom, she was there. She picked up the spiral and she was like, "Oh, are you UK's mom? Are you here for him?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." And my mom was like, "Yeah, I would love to understand kind of what he's been doing, what he's been writing." She was like, "Well, let me show you this." And she went to the bucket of where all the spirals were at. And mind you, we didn't know what the teacher actually wrote in it, because it was, you had to come to the PTA meeting. But she grabbed my spiral, she opened it. My mom just was looking through all the scribble and writing, and my mom was just flipping pages and pages and pages. And when she got to the very end, the back of the spiral, in bright red, it said, "He's a writer," and it was in red ink and had an exclamation mark and had a smiley face. And my mom will never forget to remind me, "You remember your teacher said you're a writer, and she would always instill that in me, man. So that was just, Thomas Haley was one of the first times that I think someone believed in me enough to kind of remind me, like, you have a gift or you have a talent that's outside of yourself that you need to hone, you need to continue to cultivate so that you can be able to use this talent to help others." And so I think that's why this book is important, because I think whether I know it or not, there's a bigger purpose for all our lives. And once we find that, if we don't share that and we don't use it to service others, then we're really doing a disservice to ourselves. You're doing a disservice to the purpose I think that God has for you. And I'm just thankful for that 5th grade teacher. And I hate that I don't remember her name, but she was whether she knew it or not, she was very inspirational in my journey. And so I'm thankful for her. And so if you're watching this, 5th grade teacher at Thomas Haley, thank you. It was truly one of the most important things that someone had said to me at that age, and I really needed that. So that's awesome. I think to me, buck naked is just like, man, whoever you truly are, like when you're alone by yourself in the peace of the environment that's most comfortable, that's who buck naked is. And I feel like living in that way all the time is what I want to kind of promote. I want to promote that transparency, especially now, especially when we feel like we gotta be, man, with social media, I feel like we gotta be so much more by being so much less. We're trying to do what someone else is. We're trying to live someone else's story. We're trying to create someone else's story through us. And I mean, we hear it all the time. I mean, you can be hated regardless. Why not be hated for who you actually are, not who you pretend to be? And so being buck naked is just the idea of being totally transparent in an authentic way. But then the blessed part comes in and saying, the definition from Webster is being divinely protected by God. And so imagine being totally yourself and understanding you're totally protected by God divinely, to where nothing can hurt you, nothing can harm you, and you being your total self. And so I wanted to write this book because I want to remember everyone who allowed me to be myself in the environments to let me thrive. And I want to make sure to inject that same energy into you and say, hey, you're buck naked and you're blessed. You're totally, completely naked, but you're divinely protected. You know what I mean? Or as I like to say, you're totally naked, but totally protected. Yes. Right. And so I'm just trying to tell the story about how that was so helpful to me at that age, because I didn't have a lot of confidence, and I was one of the few teachers to kind of, and it was a woman, mommy. It wasn't a man. It was a woman.
And you were a teacher's pet.
I was a teacher's pet. Yeah, I was a teacher's pet. I think I liked her because of that, right? I think I liked her because she was able to kind of remind me of my.
A lot of them, I don't know what I would have done without that child in my class, because I used him to boost the class's confidence. Just like they did for you, they did for other kids. But you stood out because you absorbed it as you needed it, like a dry ground, you pour water, that's how it felt.
Come on.
Don't take it personal, I ain't lying, I ain't hiding, I've been grinding, multiplying, I've been trying to get my weight up.
Your call has been forwarded to it.
Meditating and taking time away. You always posting up pictures, trying to look like you winning. I'm writing rhymes in the kitchen, soaking in moments we live in. Yeah, you got the nerve to be on me.